Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Steadfast Skill Assessment Academy. If you're preparing for the Electrician Skill Assessment, this video is for you. We'll go through important interview questions and answers covering all major topics, core duties, tools and safety, wiring, fault finding, regulations, and more. Let's begin your preparation journey with confidence. Core duties and responsibilities. What are your main responsibilities as an electrician? As an electrician, my main duties include installing, maintaining, and repairing electrical systems in residential, commercial, and industrial settings. I read and interpret wiring diagrams, connect circuit breakers, outlets, and switches, and ensure all installations comply with safety standards and regulations. Can you explain how you read and follow electrical plans or blueprints? I carefully study the electrical plans and symbols to understand the layout of circuits, fixtures, and wiring. I use these drawings to measure and mark points for installation, ensuring accurate placement of cables and components. Following these plans helps me work efficiently and avoid errors. What types of electrical systems have you worked on? I've worked on domestic wiring systems, power distribution, lighting installations, switchboards, and motor controls. I also have experience with three-phase systems and fault finding in both low and medium voltage environments, including residential and light commercial setups. Tools and safety. What tools and equipment do you commonly use as an electrician? I regularly use hand tools like pliers, wire strippers, screwdrivers, and multimeters, along with power tools like drills and cable cutters. I also use insulation testers, loop testers, and voltage detectors to ensure safe installations. Each tool is cleaned, calibrated, and checked regularly for safety and accuracy. How do you ensure personal safety on site? I always wear PPE, including insulated gloves, safety boots, and eye protection. Before starting any job, I isolate power sources, check for live wires, and follow lockout-tagout procedures. I also keep the work area clean and avoid working on energized circuits unless absolutely necessary. What steps do you take to prevent electrical hazards? I make sure all connections are secure, cables are properly insulated, and circuits are not overloaded. I perform regular inspections, test equipment before use, and ensure grounding and circuit protection devices are installed. I also educate others on site about electrical safety. Wiring and installation. Can you explain how you install wiring in a new building? I begin by reading the electrical plan and marking the points for outlets, switches, and lights. Then I run conduit or cable through walls, ceilings, or floors as needed. I connect the wiring to distribution boards and devices, ensuring everything is secured and labeled correctly before testing. How do you decide on the cable size and type for an installation? Cable size depends on the load requirement, distance, and type of installation. I refer to Australian standards and load tables to select the correct cable type and size. I also consider voltage drop and environmental factors such as heat or insulation when making my decision. What is your experience with three-phase systems? I have experience installing and maintaining three-phase systems for motors, switchboards, and commercial setups. I understand how to balance the loads across all phases, connect star and delta configurations, and safely measure and monitor voltage and current in three-phase circuits. Testing and fault finding. How do you test a newly installed circuit before energizing? I begin by visually inspecting the wiring for correct connections and secure fittings. Then I perform continuity tests, insulation resistance tests, and polarity checks using a multimeter and insulation tester. Once all results meet the safety standards, I power up the circuit and do a live function test. What is your approach to fault finding in an electrical system? I start by gathering information about the issue from the client, then isolate the affected circuit. I use testing tools like a multimeter or loop impedance tester to trace the problem. Whether it's a loose connection, blown fuse, or faulty device, I methodically check components until I identify and fix the fault. Can you explain how to use an insulation resistance tester? Yes, I use an insulation resistance tester, Megger. to measure the resistance between conductors and earth. I disconnect the circuit, set the tester to the appropriate voltage, and connect the probes. A high resistance reading indicates good insulation, while a low reading suggests damage or moisture. Regulations and customer service. How do you communicate with clients during a job? I clearly explain the work process, expected time frames, and any safety concerns to the client. I give regular updates and notify them immediately if there are changes or delays. After completing the job, I walk them through the finished work and answer any questions they may have. How do you handle a situation where a customer is unhappy with your work? I listen carefully to their concerns without interrupting and then review the work to see if adjustments can be made. I explain the technical aspects in simple terms and try to resolve the issue promptly and professionally. Customer satisfaction is important, and I always aim to leave a positive impression. High voltage and specialized work. What do you do before working on an existing electrical installation? Before working on an existing system, I isolate the power and verify it's safe to work using appropriate tools. I follow lockout/tagout procedures, display safety signage, and ensure others are informed. Safety is always my first priority. How do you perform earthing and bonding in an installation? I connect all exposed conductive parts to the main earth bar using the correct size earth conductors. I ensure equipotential bonding is done across water pipes, gas lines, and steel structures. I also test resistance values to confirm a safe path to earth. What are RCDs and why are they important? Residual current devices detect leakage currents and disconnect the supply to prevent electric shock. They are vital for protecting human life and are required in residential and commercial installations. I test RCDs regularly to ensure functionality. How do you handle high voltage work differently from low voltage tasks? High voltage work requires strict safety protocols, risk assessments, and sometimes additional permits. I use arc-rated PPE, insulated tools, and maintain required clearance distances. It's a team-based process that requires constant communication and planning. Lighting and energy efficiency. What is your process for lighting system installation? I follow the lighting plan, install conduits, pull cables, and fix fittings as per design. I check for correct alignment, secure mounting, and ensure circuit protection. After installation, I test each fitting for correct operation and compliance with standards. How do you reduce energy consumption in your electrical designs? I suggest LED lighting, timers, sensors, and energy-efficient appliances. I also design circuits that balance load and reduce unnecessary energy use. Whenever possible, I recommend solar integration and smart controls for better long-term savings. Project experience and time management. Describe a time when you had to work under pressure to complete a project. During a retail store renovation, materials were delayed and the deadline was tight. I reorganized the team, prioritized key circuits, and worked extended hours to deliver on time. We passed inspection and the client was satisfied with the outcome. Thank you for watching. I hope this video helped you understand what to expect in your skill assessment as an electrician. General. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Steadfast Skill Assessment Academy for more video like this. And if you need guidance or assistance with your application, feel free to contact our registered migration agent.